It's gonna matter.
All of this is going to take
What up, YouTube? Check out that made bed. We're getting back into the swing of things. Kind of took the month of December off, and some of the November as well. I'm gonna get back into editing the videos and whatnot. It feels funny talking to YouTube, not gonna lie. We're in the kitchen watching PewDiePie. I like PewDiePie.
You cannot stop me. I don't care. You know what's a great way?
That's a good PewDiePie example, honestly. A couple updates. I've been eating my head off so I don't look like a cancer patient anymore on the internet. God damn, this needs to be cleaned off. It's so funny when people say I'm skinny and stuff, because it's like, I know. I didn't really realize I was this skinny until a certain point, though. I don't know what the hell is with that, you know. God. Oh. That makes sense. But I'm finally gaining some weight. You guys would be happy to know. Your boy's looking out for his health. You guys are looking out for my health as well. Basically just been working on disfiguring the goddess and eating, really. And that's kind of it. Just kind of doing some little things on the side, like reading books and stuff still. My favorite book I've read recently is Scar Tissue by Anthony Kiedis, the singer of the Red Hot Chili Peppers. It's a great fucking book. I wish I read that earlier. Watching lots of YouTube videos and stuff. Sadly, I haven't been making any. Although I'm gonna see what's good with our footage and probably get some videos being uploaded over the winter break, which should be good. My winter break is gonna be finishing up Disfiguring. I know I've been working on it forever. It's a long ass album, and uploading YouTube videos. My last show, Denver, was great. Thank you to all who made it out. It was really great. It was my first all-original set since 2012, so, you know, it's kind of fun to do. I'll have to talk about it a little later. I'll talk about it right now. I have a new mix-up online called Big Mix 5, and it's kind of like basically how I was DJing this year and probably a little bit of last year as well. And the track listing for that mix is basically like a mix that I would play and make variants on live, but that was like essentially it. I'm kind of excited because it's my first big mix where it's actually based off an actual DJ set. It's not like a mix made for Big Mix. It's getting pretty good feedback, which I'm stoked on. My networks have shifted a bit, so like, I have a lot of followers and stuff still, but they're not all active, which is kind of a shame. So things don't get as much traction as they used to. And it kind of looks bad too, because people probably think I'm like thinking followers or faking followers or something, and I'm not. But yeah, I posted it on YouTube. Posted a really fucking funny video of me getting vitamin D. I wasn't into nutrition and health over the summer, so I really didn't get a lot of vitamin D over the summer, which is when you're supposed to get a lot of it and your body stores it and stuff. So every day, like it is right now, it's sunny out right now. After I finish this little video, I'm gonna go outside. I stand out for like an hour. So I was standing out there the previous day of the video, drinking milk. I'm drinking a lot of milk. I don't know if you can see it right here. I'm getting it from a cow down the street. It's pretty fucking dope. Very nutritious, full of calories. Just what I need. I've been gaining weight. I think I already said that, but I've been gaining some weight. And I think it's partly due to the dairy and whatnot, which is fantastic. Oh yeah, so I was in the backyard and I was like, man, it'd be so funny to be just like recording this for Big Mix, just like me standing here. And so I did that and I uploaded it on YouTube, and it's getting pretty good feedback, I would say. Like, a lot of people thumbed it up, and it has a good amount of views for kind of how inactive my YouTube channel has been over the past few years. But their comments were fucking ridiculous. Kind of, not brutal, but just like stupid. People calling me a tweaker, and then I'm doing drugs and shit. I think it's just like a mob thing. But, I appreciate anyone commenting, regardless of what the fuck they're saying. So, I think it's a pretty funny video. I can't remember how that got brought up. Yeah, Big Mix 5 is live. It's pretty, there's a couple new things on the Big Chocolate side that I have uploaded. But it's been really great not thinking about it. I think I've thought about Big Chocolate intensively for like the past few years, and there's things that I've made that I've gone all the way through, and then I never release them. I'm actually planning on releasing them this next year. I'm not trying to blow anyone's surprise, but I have some music that I'm still intending on releasing that I just didn't release because of my state of mind in the past. And honestly, I think my state of mind was partly fucked up, due to other environmental things, but mainly because of my diet, and that's something I definitely want to dedicate some time to on this channel, is talking about how just my experience in life, like a lot of other people on YouTube talk about. But I have a lot of followers that have followed me from a certain point, and then there's a certain point where I didn't want followers, and I had my own trials and tribulations in those points. Never any drugs, you motherfuckers. People thinking I'm a tweaker and stuff. I've never fucking been into drugs or any kind of like malicious activities like that, you know what I mean? I'm more of a guy that like, just, I guess it's like isolation. Isolation's like a drug. I mean, it has like really bad effects like drugs do, just without all the fun parts, I would assume. So, yeah, I want to talk about how I've kind of overcome some of the things in my life, and I think one of the biggest things in my life that I've had to overcome was eating. And the funny part about it is I always thought that I had a pretty decent diet when I was living on my own, because I wasn't gonna like spend money on shitty food or whatever, but I didn't really understand anything about food or what, I'm supposed to eat, or humans are really supposed to eat, because there's so much fucking bad information out there about what you should be eating and stuff, and how much of it you should be eating, and all this other stuff. And I've been affected by. I'll have to tell my dietary story later on, but I'll just brief you. I never liked food growing up. Like when I was a baby, I hated food. When I was growing up, I hated food, and then I basically lived off sugar in high school and whatnot, ice cream and shit, little frozen things. I mean, I liked dinners, like rice and steak and Chinese food or whatever, but I never liked food. And then in my 20s, I kind of opened my palate a little bit. I mean, I always liked meat, so I always ate meat. But then I started to like vegetables, and then that really opened the door to a lot of dishes and cuisines for me, because a lot of vegetables are in stuff, and I'd always not eat vegetables and just eat the meat, and I always thought that was weird. And then I started eating everything, and then I was really into vegetables, and I would do a lot of stir fries, and I was really into smoothies. So I'd make a lot of smoothies with vegetables in it and stuff. I've got a Vitamix and shit from when I was really into making smoothies and stuff. And it was around the same times where I was kind of dipping out of wanting to be involved with anything public and really kind of connected to anyone else, not just on the internet, but also in person. I was super antisocial. I pretty much cut off all my friends and moved numerous times to more isolated places and just constantly struggled socially and with any kind of relationship I had in my life. And then at certain points I just food was never important, so I would go all day without eating basically, and I just drink a shit ton of coffee, and then I'd be fiending for food later on. I'd be stressed out, and I'd do whatever I could to get food. Just when I'm stressed out, meaning I didn't know what the fuck to eat, and that's a big problem people have. I think they don't know what to eat. So I don't know. I'll have to talk about it later. But essentially, I found out that people were only eating meat and having all these kind of discussions about the benefits and the science behind it. And I thought that was really interesting, because I've always liked meat, but I always thought it was crazy not to eat vegetables. As soon as I started eating vegetables too, because I just kind of fell into that you need to eat vegetables to be healthy and shit. And then it was shortly after that where I got into the raw natural foods, kind of like a paleo movement, but it was about raw natural animal foods. And I started to learn about all the science about food and bioavailability, and why you need certain vitamins and why you need certain minerals and what they all do, and how they can get out of whack, and the foods to keep a good balance of these things and stuff. Because it's not so much about having a balanced diet as it is having a balanced nutrition. I don't eat too many things, but I get a pretty, there's things I'm working on still, trying to figure out how to get and whatnot. And that's the other hard part, is all the foods that you should be eating are kind of they're not very accessible. And I can go into that later as well. And there's all kinds of stuff about that, with proper food accessibility and conditions and whatnot. Luckily I live in a place where I could knock off a couple of the big ones. Biggest one is probably beef. There's great beef purveyors around here. That best raised cattle you could probably get. I don't know. It's excellent. They're outdoors all day, eating grass all day. What more could you ask for? But I'll have to talk more about it later. But it's really kind of changed my life in a grandiose sense where I feel better and I'm looking better. Like I'm finally building out. I finally feel like more like a man now. That's something else. Like I felt like I was like a teenager and then like a young man, like when I was like 21 and shit. And then I just like I couldn't move on from that. Not mentally. Mentally I moved on from it, but physically I couldn't. And it kind of fucked me up mentally, I think. Not like I was thinking about myself physically all the time, but just like the whole kind of thing. Like just something about me wasn't moving on in a proper way. And I think it's because I'm such a little guy and I just didn't like to eat. I just wasn't getting any kind of nutrition. And you know, those smoothies aren't good for you. Like it's something I learned too. It's like the combinations of foods you eat really affect how the stuff gets digested, and the combinations of foods I was putting in the smoothies weren't giving me shit. So I was basically just like giving myself inflammation and removing nutrients from my body when I actually thought I was cheat coding nutrition and stuff. So I honestly think a lot of my problems in the last few years that I was having with life and all the things I was talking about before, you know, my relationships, the way I am in like my own skin and my own brain, and my music and my connections with other people, because I connect with other people through music. That's like my fucking thing, you know. Like I don't connect. I am best in this life when I'm connecting with other people through music, and I didn't want to do that anymore. Even though I spent all my time doing music, it was really weird. Like for instance, I made a couple albums and didn't release them, type of shit. There's a few Big Chocolate albums that aren't released. There's a Disfiguring the Goddess album that I made in 2015 that didn't release. I think they're all connected to me being kind of sick, both mentally and physically, from nutrition, not from other kinds of problems, but from nutrition, from lack of certain things. And like it never clicked to me that was the problem. I tried everything. I've moved a bunch of times. I saw a doctor, a mental psychiatrist or whatever, a few times, and it's just like I knew it wasn't the thing that was fucking bothering me. So you know, after figuring out all this shit and learning a lot about it and kind of going through a lot with it, it's really I think that's it. So I definitely want to do some like more focused videos where I just talk about how effective that stuff is, both positively and negatively. Positively, if you're aware of it and you are you know, getting the proper shit you need for whatever works for you, you know. But that's the thing. It's like we're all human beings, and we all need a certain thing. And some of us are probably better at certain metabolic functions, and so some of us probably aren't. Like I have been a skinny, lanky dude my whole life, so something's telling me I'm not like the best at metabolic functions. You know, I've always been healthy, and I've always been like kind of athletic, especially in the water. But I feel like now I'm more set than ever. Like I wish I was eating the shit I'm eating now 10 years ago. Who God only fucking knows what my 20s would have been like if I had my head on my shoulders correctly then about food. And I you know, I don't blame anyone. I kind of blame the systems of all food in a way. Like I kind of think there's a lot of brainwash going on. I've never really been like big into like conspiracy theories or anything in my life, but now I'm kind of like the food industry and the government has been lying to us, and they're feeding us shitty food, and you know, that's why people get sick, and that's why everyone's fucking crazy too. I believe people are nuts because of their diets sometimes. Well, a lot of the times. And yeah, so I'll be uploading videos over the break. Things are quiet around here. Parker's gone for the holidays, and I'm just going to be uploading some videos, finishing up disfiguring, and just kind of keeping my train moving. Hopefully we all get to enjoy each other a little bit over these holidays. I know, it's funny because when I was making CamEveryDay, I never was like big on to watching YouTube videos. And recently I've really liked watching YouTube videos. Like in the past, I would say year, I've really enjoyed YouTube and, kind of how content creators and subscribers are, and that kind of passive connection. And I've always understood that from a creator when like people would be like, "Oh, I feel like I know you." It's like I know if they're watching the videos, I know what I'm putting out. But like now, it's like I kind of get what they're saying on the other side of the spectrum. So, yeah, I'm gonna just keep doing what I'm doing, and I'm looking forward to next year. There's a lot to look forward to next year, and I know that's only just like the beginnings of it. So I'm gonna go outside and get some sunshine and drink some of this milk. Some thick ass real cow milk, I've always loved milk. Ice cream and just like milky things, I guess. And now that I'm like learned what milk actually is and like the proper way to get it and stuff, and what the improper ways kind of represent, and how they not represent, but just like, yeah, they represent both as a food and as a health food and stuff. And it's like my whole life I've wanted milk, and I've never had it until like the past few weeks. So I'm kind of stoked. We'll see what kind of changes Cameron Argon goes through in the next year. Next year might be a big year for me. And I'm gonna be drinking this milk. But yeah, much love, everyone. I always appreciate the support I get. I've had a really good support. Damn, I only got 3 gallons left. Today's Thursday. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I've been drinking a gallon a day, and I only have less than 2 gallons left. Whatever. I'm gonna get some sun, start uploading some of these videos. We'll see when this one actually goes online. God bless us all.